So this video is going to be a little bit more, I guess in a way, controversial. It's about a Disney movie. And, I'm a big Disney fan. I've loved Disney since I was a little bitty kid. The first movie I remember ever watching as a little kid was Snow White and the Seven Doors. Yeah, Snow White and the Seven Doors, and then it was Sleeping Beauty. Those are the first two Disney movies I remember ever watching. So I've been a Disney fan from 5 on up until 26 years. So I'm a big Disney fan, and I know a lot about Disney. Movie wise, anyways. I might not know all the characters' ages, but most of them I can act out and tell you the whole thing. And this movie, when it came out, I loved it. I loved Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is like one of those movies that if they never made Oliver and Company, that would have been my jam until I was 10. But they made Oliver and Company. But we'll get to that one later. So as Beauty and the Beast is a really old, well, I say really old, it feels like it's that old, doesn't it? I think it's around my age, isn't it? Probably a little older, but it's been around for a long time. And as you grow up with this Disney movie. Disney purposely made the character Gaston the bad guy and made it where you absolutely hated him because he stepped on in the pumpkin patch and he was constantly wanting to marry Belle and he was trying to trick her into marrying him, and he was an evil dude, and Disney purposely made him evil because they wanted you to dislike, well, not really dislike or hate him, but they wanted you to be like, I despise this dude, and because they want you to be like, at the end of it, you're like, hey, you got what you deserved in the end of that, And, it's sad as a kid, I remember watching that scene as a little kid, and I remember being scared for the Beast more than I was for Gaston, because I'm like, no, don't kill the Beast, because you fell in love with the Beast. And Disney purposely did this, where you absolutely just didn't like Gaston, but you loved the Beast. Well, I did. I don't know if anybody else did, but I love the Beast. And, you know, I liked Belle's thing of, she was a common person. She was a woman in, I don't know where this was set. I know they said it was in France, but I don't remember the year. So, Belle in this little town where everybody has the one thing they want her to be. They want her to marry Stone and be a woman and a wife and have all these children. Everybody in this town finds it weird that she loves reading, instead of being, going and I guess meeting her future husband. They all think she's weird because she loves reading. I love too. I love reading too. Anyways, as you're watching the movie, the cartoon, I mean, the cartoon is an original Disney movie. Well, I don't know if it's original, but you know what I mean. It's a movie from Disney, and in a lot of ways, Belle was that independent woman that, you want your daughter to be of, I don't need you. I can take care of myself. Why do I need to marry you, And then when she fell in love with the Beast, which, in a way, I could kind of fight for her on this. I mean, everybody's like, well, she probably has Stockholm Syndrome or something because she pretty much had to live in the castle. But the thing of it is when you're with somebody that everybody's labeled a beast, you as a person who, like my dad, I'm going to use my dad as an example. Everybody said my dad was a big, burly man, and you didn't want to get on his bad side, which is true, you didn't. But it took one special woman to look at my dad and go, I don't see that. I don't see this big burly man. I just see John. I see this gentle man. That was all it does is take that one person to see you for something else than somebody labeled you as. Like for me, everybody labels me when they see me as the big, tall woman who's awkward, but that's not who I am personally. I'm a first time mother. I love, I live. There's just people label too soon on things. And Gaston was, in this little town known as the most handsome guy in the town. And, like I said, you watch this movie and you're like, you absolutely hate Gaston. I fell in love with the Beast. Everybody has their different ideas on that. That's the cartoon. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't get through the whole movie of the live version of this because I I don't know what Disney was thinking making this into a live without kind of sticking to the script. I wanted to kill him. I did. I'm sorry, Disney. I love you. I do. I'm a big, big fan and I love Disney, but I wanted to kill somebody over this. You watch the beginning of it, you see the little town. It's not exactly in the cartoon how it's supposed to be, but they tried. I'll give them credit for that. They tried. Now, the Beast was a different character altogether. It didn't look like the Beast in the cartoon. Once again, I understand they can't make exact replica, but I mean, once again, it's one of those things that I give them credit for trying, but it wasn't exactly, the Beast. It's a new version of the Beast. And that's okay, every character needs a new version of themselves, but once again, it's one of those things that I give them credit for trying to stick to how the characters look. Now, the actress who played Belle, I love her as an actress. There's nothing against her. I love her. Absolutely love Emma Watson. And, she was good in the Harry Potter movie. She was good in a lot of different things she was in. But when they cast her as Belle, the ultimate princess of the princesses, I'm sorry to say, out of all the princesses, she's that one princess that I'm like, you go, girl, there's a lot of the princesses that I love them. I love Aurora. I love Snow White. I love, of course, Tiana and Aurora and Tiana and I know there's more. Um, Rapunzel and then I love of course Belle and who am I forgetting? There's quite a few of them. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Somebody will comment, you love Disney, but you don't know all the Disney princesses. The thing is, I do know all the Disney princesses. It's just, I don't know what time in the morning. I got up early because of the baby, so we're just going to have to excuse me and my no knowledge of anything right now. Cinderella and, there used to be a way I remember this. Cinderella, Aurora, Tiana, Sleeping Beauty. Of course, you have Belle. I don't know if they count. They don't technically count as princesses anymore, but when their movie started, they were princesses. So you had, of course, Queen Anna and Elsa. who are now queens, but they were princesses. You have, of course, Princess Elena, and then Princess Sophia, and Princess Amber, and yes, I'm going into Disney TV shows now. And then, you have all these beautiful Disney princesses, and they all have their own great characters to them and their own great loves to them. But Belle was that one character I, as a little girl, was like, I loved her. Absolutely loved her. And between her and Cinderella, those are the two that, I just connected with. I don't know why I just connected with them. Out of all of them, those are the two I just absolutely just was fantastic. Was they were my princesses. That was just, I don't know. They were mine. I liked them. But in the live, like I said, I didn't get through the whole movie because it was just beyond. As soon as you get into the live, like I said, I give them credit for trying to keep kind of to it, but when you're bringing in a mirror that takes you into different cities, and then not a mirror, I think it was a mirror, something of that nature, that takes you to different cities instead of showing you where the person is, and then it just got crazy fast. It wasn't, like I said, I couldn't get through the whole thing. It was, I mean, they changed the character of Gaston so bad that the thing of it is in the original, like I said, they purposely made it where you hated him. That was their purpose. They wanted you to hate Gaston. But in the live, for some reason, they, in a lot of ways, I fell in love with him in the live because you're like, oh, he's a war veteran. Oh, he's not as narcissistic, and if their original, if the Beauty and Beast that I grew up with didn't exist, and then they put this out, I would have loved this version of the Stone a lot better. But when you're comparing a live to a cartoon, you're like, yeah, that's not. Why did you make me fall in love with this dude? You purposely made him where you hated him. Now you're making me love him? Why? Why, Disney? Once again, I love Disney. But you had to laugh at him and pick at him because you're like, really? What was your thought process in this? A character that you purposely made everybody hate in the cartoon. Now you're making them purposely love him? What in the holy world are you thinking? But like I said, if you separated them and you put them in different contexts and different boxes, and you pretended that the Disney cartoon version of Beauty and the Beast was its own version, and this was, the live version is its own version, which they are their own versions. But when you have a classic and you're trying to make a live movie based off that classic, it just, it's not done for me. It was one of those things of, really? You have this war veteran who pretty much everybody in town, is telling him to stay away. It felt like it in their own way. This young woman who goes around town reading and doing all these other things. And I'm like, really? That's not, the Belle that, yes, in the movie, in the cartoon version, yes, Belle goes around town reading and all the guys are in love with her. But in the real version, that wasn't how they portrayed Belle. And then, of course, like I said, with Gaston in the live, it was like, you fell in love with him because he was a war veteran and he wasn't narcissistic, and he had a gentler tone to him than in the cartoon version. And as he asked Belle to marry him that one, in front of her house, and she said, no, Gustav, and called him uh, something primeval. I just can't think of the first part of that. I know it's primeval. And, and the thing of all of it is yes, they're all good actors. And if I wanted to, I could probably get through the whole thing. But honestly, it was just too much for me. because like there's certain ones of the lives that I can put them in their own boxes and say, if this one didn't exist, I like this version. You know, like 101 Dalmatian has like how many different versions of it, and I love every different version of that one. But in that same sentence, I'm like, I can't do that with Beauty and the Beast because it was such a staple of my childhood that I'm like, yeah, they bring me this live, okay, okay, why are you making us fall in love with this character? Why is it, there was a lot of different things with it. Now, this is why I said it was controversial. As, the thing for me is, yes, they are their different versions. I know Disney can't exactly make a lot, each live as the cartoon version because they're just like, oh, they just remade the cartoon into a live movie. You get bored of it because you're like, oh, it's the same old, But in that same sentence, can't you keep a little bit more to the magic of it? Keep it a little bit closer to the storyline? Yes, like I said, yes, I'll give them credit for trying to stick to certain things in it. Like the town, they try to keep the same. The songs, they try to keep the same. There's a lot of things they tried to keep the same in this, but there was a lot of things you're shaking your head and you're going, I don't know what you were thinking, Disney, but it's not on my wish list. I'm sorry, it's not. I mean, I know some people absolutely loved the live, and there's some that absolutely hated it. And I'm not that person that I can't hate a movie and I can't dislike it. I mean, it's not my fan favorite of mine. One day I'll tell everybody what my favorite fan favorites are of Disney, but it's not my fan favorite. And it's sad to say because I love all Disney. The cartoon version of it is it's my fan favorite, but the live one I wanted to love it, but it was just it didn't have it. So this is the end of this video. I'll do another one.